The Whine and Cheese Show is a Metaverse and NFT discussion and interview series brought to you by Metaverse Ventures Entertainment and host BEN68 and Morecheese. Warning: the information and opinions within are solely the views of the individuals involved, contains content not suitable for anyone.
One is a wanker, one's slinging stunts, one's from Australia, one's from the Bronx.
Snack size.
Is the Metaverse the future of dating now? I think all three of us, we're well beyond the dating scene, so it's not an issue. A little bit. So this is not something that's definitely not something on my radar. I think Cheese and I were talking just recently, and I think I said if I was to ever get divorced, I would be the most singlest man ever.
And I said I'd be a cat lady.
Yeah, it's not something that would interest me at all. I really feel for kids that are or people that are in this space because I just don't know how.
To be fair, I met my husband in the Metaverse on an MMORPG. So there you go.
Yeah. Oh, so what do you think about this, Cheese? Do you think it is the future?
Yeah, it is. I think it's been the future for a while. It gives people a chance to get to know each other without the kind of distraction of physical like the physical distraction, because what I think is a lot of people rush into things because of like how somebody looks instead of getting to know them, sort of thing. And and I think if you kind of get to know somebody, it's a lot easier to kind of move on to someone else that you haven't been kind of like that intimate with. Like you can find exactly someone who suits your personality, your likes, your dislikes. Opposites don't necessarily attract. And I like the fact that I have a lot in common with my husband. So
sure. I think that it'll definitely be like an avenue for people that will be taken. I think it'll become more popular. I don't think that anything is going to really overtake just meeting people when you're out and about at the movies, at the club, or whatever the kids are doing these days. I think that's just going to probably stay. People like being in physical proximity.
I don't
know what it's like in the States, but just recently, I think it was 60 Minutes Australia did a feature where there's so many nightclubs and bars and that going bust now here because the millennials, as they refer to them, they're just not doing that anymore. They're this kind of generation that's coming up is more health conscious. They're more social media conscious. They're just not going out and getting blasted and having one night stands. It's much more about your associated with your closer contacts. They're meeting people through friends of friends at like house parties, or they'll go and do a brewery tour together. It's kind of the whole thing has shifted.
Yeah.
It's all hypothetical to me. I live in West Virginia. We never got the clubs to begin with. Like I have friends that have gone to New York and have talked about them, and I have no. We have a movie theater, and not much else.
Yeah. Well, I kind of grew up and live in what's essentially the Las Vegas of Australia, so it's very much my scene back in the day. Yes, I like this here in this article. This is quite the description. It says, on our first date, so they're talking about this, the person who wrote the article trying this out. Cece and I met on a floating platform suspended in the middle of a distant galaxy. As with much space travel, we experienced a few technical difficulties. Cece, as they've asked to be called, is supposed to be a rabbit, but they look to me like a small animated girl in a hoodie with large cat ears and a tail. My voice is on delay that disrupts the natural flow of conversation, and for several minutes, my body, that of a lanky blonde woman in a cropped puffer jacket and leggings, crawls around in a half squat like a terrier looking for the right spot to relieve itself.
This sounds like fluffy porn. This sounds like fluffy, like naughty stuff.
This all happened in Mark Zuckerberg's world.
This is not what I was referring to. What I was referring to is, you play a game, you meet somebody on that game, you have a lot in common, you get along, and you start talking on Discord chat and like watch shows together. Yeah.
Well,
This
now that you mention it, one of my friends met their partner like that. So you're not alone.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I think this goes off what Zuckerberg was saying in that previous article. What this is saying here is that at the moment it's quite janky. You know, there was a delay in the voice, like something screwed up with their avatar, like it wasn't supposed to be walking around like that. It just kind of glitched out. So the person has said, "Oh, don't apologize. They've seen much weirder things before." I think this is great. This is setting the expectations very low for your first date. That's good.
And I wouldn't date somebody that I just like. Sully and I were friends in the metaverse for 2 years before we even decided to meet. And then when we met, we decided to take things to like going out. I guess it's different now. Like people are more brave, or they're more either more brave or more naive.
Well, there's platforms like Tinder and Grindr and God knows what else.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't even refer to that.
I can't imagine being in that scene with a smartphone. I can't. I have no idea.
No, yeah, absolutely not. So yeah,
we were still having to press the individual buttons back in my day.
I remember back when I moved cities to change universities, and I was living in a share house, and we used to go out to the clubs, and I had one of the first kind of digital cameras. It was like a brick, but we'd take it out to the club and we'd take all these photos on the walk back home. Part of the fun of that whole experience was the next day, like in the afternoon, once we'd all recovered from our hangovers, we'd get the computer out and we'd look at all the photos we'd taken. We're like, holy shit, I can't remember we did that. It was like, that was part of the fun, but there was no social media. It wasn't get blasted all over social media where the cops are going to come and knock on your door and like, please explain.
Well, I used to do that too, Ben. Like I used to travel since I was like 16. I went out as young as 14. I used to go to clubs and dance, but I didn't really date until like, during college. Like I just didn't have the interest in it. I just wanted to go out and have fun, sort of thing.
Yes, absolutely. So
nobody was ever similar to me for me to be like, all right, you're okay. Until the metaverse.
Well, there you go. So
we'll
see. So we intend to change the dating market where physical attraction will become one of several factors rather than the primary way people connect. So yeah, that's what you're kind of talking about. Yep. Cool. Dating is now too focused on looks, Mullen argues. With VR, humans can finally evolve beyond the superficial and instead connect with each other on a deeper level, heart to heart, spirit to spirit. And how many bloody reality shows are based on that principle alone?
None.
There's heaps where they have the conversations behind a screen.
Oh,
yeah, we've got Love Is Blind. We've got that dating one where the person, everyone's wearing cosplay makeup on like all to the nines.
Yeah, but they have to marry within like a month or two, right?
Oh, that's a different
show.
Yeah. These are ones where it's either a guy or a girl, and there's several combinations of the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever it is, and they're only finding out who they're going to go on a date with based on the conversations they're having. They don't see the person, or if they do, I like that one that you're talking about, Scooby. I think it's on Netflix where they wear these crazy ass costumes.
You have to let me know. I want to see this.
Well,
I'm interested.
It's pretty funny. I think it might be a British show.
The dating show. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to get the name of that. What was the dating show where they're all dressed up in cosplay and they don't?
Yeah, it's a funny show.
Beast something. Beauty or Beast
Match.
Beastly Beauty.
Beast Match or something.
Beast Match. Yeah. Oh, it might be Beast Match.
Beast Match. What a name.
Oh, it's funny. I'll definitely, you got to check that out, Cheese. It's a good laugh.
I'm gonna write it down in the chat to you just so I could remember.
Yes. All right. I don't think we won't touch on that too much further. Scan that QR code or click that link in the description and dive yourself headfirst into the Samurai Aquatics Discord server to pleasure your peepers on our current and future range of outdoor decor.
So that vampire samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get off your ride. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. You the vampire samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky. You the vampire samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get off the ride. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. You the vampire samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky.